Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Planet Coaster 2 video. First things first, Happy New Year 2025. I hope you had a wonderful time with your families and with your friends, and this is actually my first video in 2025. You guys maybe think, what is this now? Because we only had Arcadia videos in the last few weeks, but I really had some fun with some smaller side projects, and I really wanted to show this one off, as I really like the smaller projects, and it was really a lot of fun to build this coaster and this layout and the scenery and stuff. So welcome to our first video besides our main Arcadia series. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you like the speed builds. Many people suggested in the comments that I really need to do some speed builds, and here you go. Probably the smaller side projects in the future will definitely be speed builds, as I don't really like the construction update stuff for the smaller side projects. I really like construction updates for the bigger park, for the Arcadia series, but I think that's the better way for the smaller projects. So here you go, everybody who asked for speed builds, there we are, and I'm really happy how it turned out. So right here at the moment I am building the coaster layout, as you can see. And the main idea for this coaster was to build a Gerstlauer or family coaster, like Pegasus Express at Park Asterix or Fire Chase Express at Dollywood. You will see in the video that the whole build is like a little bit inspired of some Dollywood stuff, and I really go for a pretty basic Western or standard American theme, and I really like how it turned out, and that was the idea since I started working on this coaster and this project. But right here we are building the main layout. I think we have 18 meters of height, maximum height. It's a small coaster, but it's pretty big for a family coaster actually. And that's the layout. I know we had to skip some parts so that the video will not get too long. So I really, I already built all the custom supports and stuff. I really like how they turn out, and it's actually not that simple to build these Gerstlauer or family coaster supports. I looked at some, and I'm really happy how they turned out. And it's really great that we finally have the custom supports in Planet Coaster 2. So I'm going for the station. The funny thing of this coaster actually is that I decided to build this bluish color for the family coaster first. I will change that later, because I really didn't like how the blue and the whole color and structure of the building turned out. So I decided to change that in, I don't know, I think just a few minutes, into a black coaster, because it's really basic and black really fits to any buildings you build, and you really don't have to think about what colors or what building style your building is actually built of. So the whole idea for this coaster, and actually as well the reason why I didn't use any terrain building or stuff, is to build a coaster blueprint. So you can download this coaster. I will share the drop code in the description below, so make sure to check it out, download it, and have a look by yourself at the coaster. I'm really happy how it turned out, and it's actually a cool addition for some smaller family parks, or more. Well, it is definitely quite intense layout. You will see the POV later on. So the coaster really fits into any park, and it's actually pretty refreshing to build a kind of mid-budget coaster and not always this high-budget stuff which I'm building in Arcadia right now. So I really have a lot of fun with the smaller side project. Also, huge shout out to Jan BK, where I actually took my inspiration from. I really liked this Tiny Rockets video, and I saw the video and thought, now it's the time. I really need to build a smaller side project now. And I talked with him about this, and it's super fun to build these side projects, especially if you use another theming that you're using in the main coaster series or main park series, which I'm using right now. So I really had loads of fun, and we will definitely have some more smaller projects in the future on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, leave a like and leave a comment down below. I really like to read you all your comments, and I am trying my best with answering all your comments, and I think I'm doing pretty good actually. So thank you very much for everyone who commented in the last few episodes of Arcadia and now my last few videos. I really love to get some feedback on some ideas into these projects, and it really helps a lot to, yeah, to keep it exciting and build new stuff. And a big part of Planet Coaster is inspiration. So it's the best thing to leave a comment down under some Planet Coaster videos, because really, believe me, the creators are happy about any inspiration or suggestions you guys give. So that's really great. As I told you, you can download this coaster blueprint in the link in the description below, or with the share code in the description below. Feel free to send me some pictures. Join my Discord channel if you haven't already, my Discord server. Also, the link is in the description below. And share your screenshots of this creation, maybe in some cool parks or areas inside your parks. I'm really excited to see this. And I'm really excited to see this little small coaster actually becoming alive, because I haven't used it in a park. So the general idea of this coaster was to build a generic American lodge western. I don't actually know how to say it correctly, but you get the theming of this coaster pretty soon probably. Also, I just realized that we've changed the color to black, which I really like. It's a cool color scheme. And I also used the beige supports for this coaster, which I used in Arcadia for our spinning coaster. I really like how the whole coloring turned out. It's really great, and it's vibing a lot, and it's working together pretty good, I think. So I saw some lodge buildings or artworks of these type of buildings in the internet, and I really checked out these custom supports and pillars, and I think it's really cool how they turn out. So this is what we are building right here. Also, a great thing, what we can do in Planet Coaster 2, and I think it was possible in Planet Coaster 1 as well, is to build these station launches. And I think it makes it really interesting. If you saw a on-ride of Pegasus Express, I'm not really sure if Fire Chase Express has a station launch, but I think it does. But if you look at these on-rides of the Gerslers, it's actually a pretty common thing to have these station launches, and I really like it. It really gives some action into the first part of the layout, and it really turned out great. The layout of the coaster could have been more smooth, I think. Actually, I'm pretty happy with it, but at some parts, it could have been smoother. Anyway, I like how it turned out, and right here I'm trying to build a operator's booth. Or at least the first version of it. I will definitely go into it back again, because I really didn't like how that turned out. And also I took this idea and inspiration from Jan, so there's a shout out coming inside the operator's booth. So this stuff what I'm building right here is actually not important at all. But I really like the idea of building a operator's booth for our coasters, just for realism. Talking about realism, realism is actually a focus that I use in this coaster. So you will probably see that it's, if we ignore some things, it is pretty realistic in most sort of things, and I'm really happy how this turned out. And we're still building the operator's booth, and operator booths are actually a big part of building realistic coasters, because they really belong to the coasters. And I saw the stuff in the operator's booth that Jan built for Tiny Rockets, and I really liked it. So I actually did the same. Also, it's pretty hard to keep the blueprints under 4K pieces. As you guys probably know, it was a known problem in Planet Coaster 1 and is a known problem in Planet Coaster 2. But it's also a cool challenge to try to keep these builds under 4K pieces. I think people would go absolutely crazy if they could build like, I don't know, 10,000 piece blueprints or stuff. So right here we are doing some path work. I'm actually quite happy how this turned out, and I pretty much used the first version of it, if I remember correctly. So it's also a bigger plaza in front of the coaster, so we would have a great guest flow going on right there. We have a huge entrance area going down there, and the entrance area right onto our left. You will see it later on. And I'm really happy how this turned out, because usually I'm building some real bridges and stairways and stuff. I tried to keep it simple this time, and I didn't want to waste too much time with building some great stairs, but I'm really happy how it turned out. I think it's simple, but it's super effective. I use these log pieces throughout the whole build. You will definitely remember them and see them again very soon. We are actually using them for the entrance and queue area as well. And I'm really happy with the aquatic lights. They actually work so good for this build style and stuff, and for pretty much for like this generic theme park stuff. It's looking really cool. Also, a great thing with these lights is that you can change the light color, which you can't do with every light in the game. And this is really cool that you can change the color, because it's actually way too white colored. So I also changed it to more warm and orange color. So it looks better at night. The whole coaster has nighttime lighting as well. So yeah, you will probably not see some nighttime shots. It's not super special, it's pretty simple, but I'm quite happy how it turned out. Talking about realism again, we are building the maintenance track right there. Don't judge me on my switch track. It is definitely not realistic, but I really had no other place to build it. And yeah, at one point I just wanted to finish this coaster, even though I had some huge fun with it. So this right here is the building for our maintenance area, so people and staff members can do some maintenance on the track vehicles, on the coaster trains, especially because we don't have any roofs besides the station. So it would be probably realistic to put one coaster train inside the maintenance bay and one coaster train inside the station. So that would be probably the thing, how it works in real life. And I'm really happy to how this all turned out. And even though the switch track is not super realistic, because it's way too short actually to get a train inside there. So we're still building on the maintenance area, and we'll definitely go for the queue later on. I'm also quite happy how the queue turned out, talking about the queue as well. It's really great, and it's so simple, but it's, as I said earlier, it's super effective. Right here, what I'm doing right here, or what I did right here, was to change the color of the coaster support connectors for the train, because I originally built them with blue color and it didn't work out with the black track color, so I changed that to the beige color as well. We're also doing some backstage area over here and fence it off. You will not see the backstage stuff if you're a visitor and just walking inside the area or the plaza in front of the coaster. And I really like that it's pretty much invincible. So yeah, right here I'm trying something with pathing. I think in a previous episode of Arcadia somebody told me, maybe try to build some custom paths and stuff, and I know I didn't do it in Arcadia, or at least didn't do something super special. So I just tried to build some boardwalks over here. I also like the custom signs that we got, also using some custom text. You know it from pretty much every build I did. I really happy with the text pieces. It's so amazing. It gives so many opportunities. And yeah, it's super amazing that we've got it finally. So right here we had a little break. It's probably because I was sick when I've built this and I need to grab some tea and stuff. Yeah, pretty often. So that's why we have some short delays sometimes happening there. And right here I'm trying something with the nets under the track, so our guests will not be hit by any phones or stuff, loose items that are visitors. Yeah, carry with them in the coaster. Because as you could see earlier on, I built some smaller, yeah, I don't know what they are called actually. It's like bag drops or stuff. When you ride the coaster, you can drop your bag there and yeah, just ride it without your bag. Some coasters don't have them. You can carry your bags on the coaster, but this one is a modern Ghostler family coaster, so they would definitely have some area where to store your belongings and stuff. So the nets are just for safety reasons. If some people carry stuff with them that they should not, definitely. And of course, it's also a huge part for realism. Right here, I'm fighting with the pathing tool, but I think it would turn out pretty cool. It's also great to have some paths belonging to the blueprints right now. We didn't have that in Planet Coaster 1, so it's great they added it because it makes it so much easier to place on any blueprints and stuff. And I really wanted to go for some basic planters over there. I didn't want to do some super exciting theming or stuff like this. I really wanted to keep it simple with this build, so I used some planters in the queue area. We also did some fencing right here because I actually thought this exit area was completed. But I looked at it once and thought, oh, maybe our guests could fall off there. So I also added some fences. So it's not super easy to jump off there or fall off there and get some, yeah, I don't know. People are going to the lawyer because of this, so we just need to keep it safe just to stay and stick for our realism focus on this build. So right here we are building our first queue roofing, our queue roof area. I mean, it always depends on where the park is situated. If you need these roofs, I mean, if it's situated in a very hot area, you definitely need them, just because the people won't stay at the sun too long. Parks wouldn't want to have this and have some guests using them, medics and medical areas and stuff. So roofing is actually pretty important for the queues, especially if you're standing in line for a long amount of time. And I really liked using a similar structure that I use for the station. So we are also building a super basic structure. It's also pretty much the same if you compare it to the station. And I think it's also simple but effective. This is probably the motto for this episode of Planet Coaster. I'm really happy how it turned out, and I mean, it's not always great to have these switchback queue lines, but I really like it right here, and I think it would be just realistic to have these switchbacks. Also, the amount of parts that we've used in this whole build is, there are not too many. I think we've used around, I don't know, maybe 200 different parts or stuff. I try to stick to the parts I've used, so the builds just look similar and the whole thing makes sense. So we're using a lot of wood, a lot of wooden structures, and some, yeah, pretty basic stone stuff. Also, Mystic told me to add some stones into these stone wall buildings because it looks, yeah, better. The thing is, I really didn't want to build some more stone walls and stuff, and also I didn't have that much time remaining, and as well, yeah, the piece count was, I think the blueprint is around 3.8 thousand pieces, so I didn't have loads of pieces to go for the blueprint, and I really didn't want to make a park out of it, so I really wanted to stay with the blueprint. Right here I decided to build a entrance, and I also deleted the safety nets again, because you will see it in many parks that they don't have safety nets. They just have some roofing and stuff over the paths. And we only really do have this section in the entrance area where the coaster train goes over the people. So I decided to use a roof, and it's looking better, of course. Especially if we go for a smaller park, they would be happy to use some roofs anywhere they can. I mean, the safety nets would definitely be cheaper, but I think this looks way better in realistic parks. So right here, I'm using some fences. I didn't really know if I should put any fences there. I mean, they are not looking good, that's for sure. They're looking realistic, but they are not looking super good. But I think as we're doing this for a smaller park, they would not be able to build some themed stuff all around the area. And I think it would be just realistic to build these, fences behind the, green stuff. And just to make it inaccessible for some stupid people. I don't know. Parks really need to think about this stuff and really need to save their or secure their areas, so nobody has some bad ideas or climbs over a fence and stuff. So I use these standard fences all around the area. Also, I really like to go for these hedges. I think they look pretty cool, and it's great that we have some more variation and some different sizes for these hedges now. Planet Coaster 1 had them as well, but I think they look way better in Planet Coaster 2. That's actually a pretty interesting thing. Also, we are getting to the name right here, and this coaster is called the Cascade Runner. I mean, you guys probably saw it in the title. It's a pretty basic title. The title will definitely fit into any park you're building out there. I mean, obviously, it's like a little bit Dollywood inspired, so Cascade Runners is pretty basic and it works for pretty much every park. But I'm really happy with the name. It does not have some connection to the coaster, but I think it really doesn't have to. It's always better if the name makes sense and stuff, but I think coaster names are really free, and that's a cool thing to get some custom names for trains and for the coaster. Right here I'm also doing some realism stuff, doing these browner areas down below the coaster layout. It would be just realistic because the sun doesn't get there. And if you look at some pictures of any coasters out there, you will definitely see this and see that the areas below the coaster are not filled with grass or anything. Right here, we are building a staff entry. I really wanted to close it off completely from the guests so the guests cannot see this area. I will do that later on with some more hedges. It's also, I think, pretty cool to add some things. If you guys download this blueprint, you can also use the backstage area and add some stuff, backstage stuff, or even add some normal guest paths. I think it works fine and it looks super basic, and pretty much everything you want to build with it will definitely work there. Also added some staff only signs, just to make sure our guests don't have some ideas of getting down there or thinking that this is the entrance of the coaster or something like this. So yeah, also some stuff for realism. Also, I really like this sort of pretty simple custom fence that I'm using here, and making use of the Viking fences and the hedges as well. I think it's really cool, and it looks super basic, super plain, and I really like the look of it. It also works in any park, especially if we think about that hedges would probably almost work in any climate and in any geographic area in the world. So I think this fence is pretty cool, and I will probably reuse it in Arcadia. And it's also pretty simple because it's just consisting of 2 pieces. I also made use of some flower stuff, always doing some botanical work around the coaster, so it doesn't look too empty down there. It's definitely not round. Don't judge me with that. I know that. But in real life, would it be perfectly round? I think in some parts it would, but not in all. And you really don't really see it when riding the coaster or when just walking there as a visitor. Also, the hedges would have been, I think, a little bit too high because our guests cannot really see over them. But I think it works just fine. If you're big enough, you can see over them. Also, we have the seating area around the first corner. Or, no, I don't think it's the first corner. Around the corner right at the station, where people can sit and relax and maybe wait for the other people riding the coaster. And it's really amazing to have some smaller seating areas as well. And also, if we think about realism again, I mean, that's pretty important. Also did some custom lights right there. They are also pretty simple actually, but I really like how they turned out. They would definitely work for some... Yeah, they would also work for the Dark Universe stuff I'm doing for Arcadia right now if I look at them. They would work for a western area, they would work for a city, they would work for pretty much every theme. So they're super basic. And it's actually pretty cool to have some stuff that you can reuse from this blueprint as well. But I think they turn out pretty cool. They're super simple, but also super effective. So right here, I'm doing some botanical works, placing down some trees so it doesn't look too empty. I didn't place some trees in the blueprint behind the coasters so that you can reuse it, maybe build some paths down there, or maybe have some other attractions down there. And yeah, this is pretty much the stuff where we are almost finished with the blueprint. Now we're just going into some detailing stuff. We're also building some custom coaster trains, so stick around till the end. So it's really delightful how the coaster trains turn out. And right here, I am trying my best to build a realistic switch track and transfer track especially. So the idea here was to include a transfer track right at the end of the coaster, so people can transfer the coaster trains into the maintenance bay. And I'm also really happy how it turned out. I can probably reuse this one for future projects. And yeah, it looks really cool. I really like how this turned out. I mean, we saw some great transfer tracks in the past already. But I tried my best here with this one, and I'm really glad with the transfer track, even though it's not realistic. Also, what I'm doing right here is building this, I don't know how it's called, I think it's like a chain or something like this, for the transfer track techniques and mechanics right there, so it's working. And right here, the whole track would transfer to the right. I know it would not work because it's not long enough, and the coaster train is actually longer than the brake run that we're using here as a transfer track. But I think if it would be longer, it would definitely be realistic and work. Right here, I'm trying to build some mechanical work and some engines for electric boxes and stuff for the transfer track. I think they're super cool, and it's really a nice little detail to have them down below because it's just for realism. The yellow thing I did there, I was supposed to be a sign or something like that. Didn't really want to write anything on it. It's not super important to see it. Yeah. So as we're going for a realism on this build, I'm also building some drainages and some gutters right there. I think it's really great that we have them finally. I will definitely not go to build them for Arcadia, for every building we have in Arcadia. I mean, it's super much work to build these. I think only the drainage pipes were around 30 minutes work or something like that. So it's super much work to build them, but they look amazing, and they actually are a great little detail. They add a great little detail to to your buildings. Also, I really wish we had some more pieces for the drainages. It's enough to build some, but just 2 or 3 more would have been absolutely amazing, just so that we can yeah, attach them to any buildings. Also, I really don't like the connectors right there. They don't really work for any building, especially if we are forced to use the sizes that we've got in Planet Coaster 2. And yeah, as you can see here, the connector things are pretty much floating around somewhere. And yeah, anyway, I really like how it turned out. So right here, you can see our operator's booth again. I'm doing some interior work with it, and I really, the first idea was to build a custom operators table, but it didn't really work out. You will see later that I'm deleting it again. And I took my inspiration also from Jan for these right information signs. I don't actually know how they are called, and I really, the idea was to find one in real life, and I didn't see any or find any pictures of them because I just don't know how they're called, and it's pretty hard to find out how these signs are called. But they are, the signs for our coaster, and it's a sign for the coaster, manufacturers to just build some information on the coaster and to leave, I think it's like a technical construction sign or something like that. Maybe tell me how it's called in the comments down below so I can find some reference in the future. I will definitely include them in any future build I'm doing. I'll also add them to Arcadia. We'll also, just for your information, go into Arcadia realism again. So I really enjoy building this realism stuff, which I did right here for this coaster, and I really want to improve some areas in Arcadia, because I know I said that we were going for a realistic approach in Arcadia, and I didn't really do this in all the videos and all the areas, but we'll definitely go into it again. So right here we are building a stairway, just so if the coaster gets stuck there, or if we or our employees just need to get up there, can reach this area. Also some smaller realism stuff, and I'm really happy with the pieces we finally got in Planet Coaster 2 for realism. It's really great, and I'm really looking forward to get some more in the future. So right here, I really didn't have any idea to build a coaster train, and I'm not super good, as you know. I think the Revenant trains for our big coaster in Arcadia turned out pretty cool. But I don't have some experience into building coaster trains, custom coaster trains in Planet Coaster 2. But we're going for a pretty chaotic approach here, I think. But in the end, they are looking pretty cool. Also, needed loads of time to build these coaster trains because I built some stuff and then wasn't really happy with them. And if you play Planet Coaster 2, you definitely get that it's not super easy to build these trains, and we don't have too many pieces that we can scale down, so they would work for pieces using or pieces that you can use for the coaster trains. But I'm really happy how it turned out here. I mean, it's really detailed work, but it adds so much to the game, adding these custom coaster trains. I'm so happy that we've got them, and I think probably everyone is. It's super amazing that we finally got some custom coaster trains, and it really adds a lot to the game. So our speedbuild part is almost finished right now. We will go into real time after our speedbuild as we finish these coaster trains, and I will show you the creation in our real-time part. You will also see some cinematics and a POV, obviously. Also, make sure to check out the share code in the description below. So let's go into the real-time part. Welcome back to the real-time part. As I told you earlier, we are here in our Cascade Runner blueprint. You can see the coaster train going around the layout back there. We have 2 trains on this coaster. It actually has a pretty decent capacity. I think it would not work for a huge high budget park with several thousand visitors, but it would definitely work capacity wise for a medium park. It's really amazing to see this coaster go around the layout in real time. And this is the whole plaza area that we've got for the coaster. We do have a big tree right here. I told you that I really like the lanterns. I really like them, how they turned out. You can see these custom supports with the support structures not being connected by screws and stuff. It's a Gerstler, so the supports are connected directly with the concrete stuff. I looked at them, it looks a little bit weird, but yeah, it's actually the case for Gerslers. There's our train going upwards the lift hill. The lift hill is pretty fast for a Gerstler family coaster. The thing is, if I would have made it go slower, it would not be able to make the layout. But I think it's actually working for a modern coaster, going up that fast up onto the lift hill. You will see the POV of the coaster in the end of this video, and it's so amazing. It's really delightful seeing this coaster making its way throughout the layout. We do have a block section up there, and now the coaster train is coming again. Right on timing and going onto the second lift hill right there. And then it makes its way down onto this area. So the coaster is actually not super small. It has, I think, 1.3 kilometers of track length, which is actually pretty big for a family coaster. I think it's just around what Pegasus Express at Park Westeros would be. And it's really looking amazing to see this coaster go around this layout. Yeah, it's great. And these Gerstler family coasters are obviously a great coaster to build in pretty much any park. They are looking amazing. They are super smooth. And Gerstler actually built some amazing coasters with their family coasters. So right here the coaster is going on to the final break section. Going inside into the station again. And that's it. This right here is our exit. So people and our guests will come out there. We do have the staff area where we can actually walk as well, right here, and work at the coaster and do some maintenance stuff and all of this area realism stuff. And right here on our left is the entry. I also really like the look of the coaster right here. We need to wait for another coaster train, I think. I think it should do a station launch right away. Depends on if we have any guests up there. I think it's pretty empty right now. Oh, I also hit the space key, so we were on pause. I mean, that's obviously the case. And the reason why there's no train coming. And there it goes. It's really looking pretty cool. And it's a great addition for smaller parks for their portfolio. Also really like that, yeah, the near miss here, or that you can really go, like, I think it's 0.5 meter distance to the coaster. It's really great to see the coaster going around the layout here. And this is our entrance area. So you make your way through this beautiful little garden. First a smaller switchback right here. Then you make your way through the garden part and in towards the station. It's not super special, it's not super immersively themed, it's definitely completely basic. But right here you can watch the coaster go around the layout, which makes the waiting times a little bit, or making them seem a little bit not too long. It's also always a good idea to put the queue lines near the coaster so people have something to look at. And right here is our station. I really like the interior of the station. Really like how it turned out. It's super basic, as I told you, but it's really, really cool. And that's it, probably. So I will leave you guys with a POV for the coaster. Thank you very much for watching. We will see probably in the next episode of Arcadia in around 1 or 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel to not miss any future creations, any future videos. And make sure to join my Discord server in the link in the description below. So thank you very much for watching and have a great day.